Hello, and welcome to another casual Poke Collector video. So today I will be showing you what I got and what I participated in this past weekend, which was not one, but two pre-release events for Pitch Black, the new expansion for Pokemon TCG, and I'll take a moment to show you like a quick recap of the unboxing as I did in the spot, as I filmed really briefly while I was opening each of the sets. And as you already saw in the thumbnail, I did get Delmise in the first pre-release event and Bastiodon in the second one. Before going into the pre-releases, I usually like to watch these videos that analyze the deck lists for each of the four variants that you could get. And it was obviously that my favorite was Delmise and the teacups and Sinistcha and everything, because it was a very interesting deck. And I signed up for four pre-release events these 2 weekends. So the first two I did them this past weekend, the 4th and the 5th, and then I have two more this upcoming weekend, the 11th and 12th. So I'm very excited about that. A second video will come later next week. So what we will do in this video is talk about each deck separately, what the deck included and how I edited it, and also I will be talking about the different pulls that I've got. And before we do all of that, I'm going to show you a quick recap of the actual unboxing at the moment. I filmed a few minutes while I was opening the packs before I actually played the game itself. All right, as you can see, these pre-release events are pretty fun. It's a group event. Everybody is opening their packs. I'm always very happy to participate in these. This is my third time participating in a new release. My first time was with Perfect Order. I participated in two pre-release events. I liked it so much that for Chaos Rising, I participated in 3. And then now this one, I'm participating in 4. Hopefully, by this upcoming weekend, I will get the other two different decks, so I have one of each. There is a very high chance that I will get a dupe of either one. I don't mind anymore because I did already get my favorite, but I am hoping, really hoping to get at least Miraidon. Slowbro, not that much. Everybody who got the Slowbro was an instant lose. It's just I don't understand how they designed that deck. But yeah, we're going to talk about each of these decks, then we're going to talk about the pools and everything else. So we're going to put this one aside. So first we're going to talk about the first deck that I got, which was Delmise. And as you can see, it's already sleeved because if you don't know this, the pre-release events requires you to take your own sleeve. So after you unpack everything and you have to build the 40 card deck, you have to sleeve them up. In this case, I sleeved them with the Perfect Order sleeves from the ETB plus an outer sleeve as well. So we're going to talk about this and then we'll talk about the other deck. Oh, and also, by the way, I will be pulling these packs at the end of the video. One from Pitch Black that I got from the second event and a few extra packs that I've had from casual events the past couple of days. So that will be at the end of the video. And yes, as you might already notice, this channel is a little bit more casual. We're going to take our time. So grab a tea, grab a coffee, and we will talk about all of this together. Each of the boxes had like these suggestions for each of the decks. So this was for the Delmise deck and this was for the Bastiodon deck. It gives you like some suggestions as to how to pair it up really nicely. And it also has like each of the 4 different variations or the pack arts that come in the booster packs per se. These are like the empty booster packs that I've gone. So these are the 4 designs. So we have all these beautiful, beautiful designs here. Mega Zeraora, Chandelure, Excadrill, and also Mega Darkrai, the mascot of this set. And I've already got Mega Chandelure and Excadrill. So hopefully I will get the other 2 in the next events. And apart from that, we also get this player's guide, or more specifically, I would say like a quick guide and a checklist of all the different Pokemon and cards, including the secret rares that we got. So yeah, it's really nice to have this as well. And by the end of the 3 or 4 pre-releases, I usually have most of the main set, obviously including all the commons, uncommons, rares, and double rares, which are the regular EXs, but all the secret rares and illustration rares, SIRs, obviously no. But yeah, hopefully we will be able to complete the main set, at least from all the different pre-releases, and then later once the ETB comes, which I have already pre-ordered as well. So yeah, that's that. We're gonna look first at the deck itself, Delmise. What we're going to do is we're going to order it, everything here. So we're going to look at each of the Pokemon and items, etc. So let's order really quickly. We're going to move the hits to one side at the moment. We'll talk about those in a second. We're going to put them about here. We'll talk about those in a second. Let's continue. While I finish up ordering these, I will just let you know that I really liked the color palette of this deck in particular, because it's this mixture of purple and green. So these 2 colors complement each other really, really, really well. So I really like it. That's why I enjoyed this deck. Like visually, it was nice. The Pokemon were nice. The abilities were nice. Like everything in general, I just felt like it was such a interesting deck. It has made its rounds in Japan before it did in the West, because usually the decks and expansions usually come out in Japan months before they do in USA and international markets. As I am based in Latin America, I also follow like the West international release schedule. So yeah, all right, so this was the deck. This is obviously a little bit edited from what you get from the 40 card pre-built deck. The main changes that I did, even though it wasn't that much, is just I included a 5th pair of Poltergeist and Sinistcha. As the pre-release events, you don't have a Pokemon limit or a card count limit. You do have a limit of 40 in total, but you can include 17 of the same Pokemon if you want, so that's nice. And because all of these Pokemon have a good synergy whenever most of these are in the discard pile with the hide and sneak ability or the ghost veil ability, or in Spanish is escondidas furtivas. So because I needed a lot of them in the discard pile, that's why I added a couple more so that I have more quantity to work with, because Delmice itself needs 4 of them in the discard pile for its attack to work, which is specifically a 30 damage attack for its base. And then if you have at least 4 or more Pokemon from these in the discard pile, it would do 140 more, so for a total of 170. It's a very powerful attack, a 1 prizer for 1 energy, really nice. And then, for example, let's see, this one, Sinistcha, which is the phase 1 of Poltergeist. It has a nice ability that it protects you from attacks and effects of attacks. It's a very interesting ability. But here, the main attack, which is for 1 colorless, so it synergizes really well with the psychic energy. If you have 6 or more Pokemon with this ability in the discard pile, so it needs 2 more than Delmice, what you do is you put 4 damage counters on all of your opponent's Pokemon, all of them, the active and the benched Pokemon. So it's a very powerful attack. If you are able to do it once, it's already really good. But if you do it twice or maybe 3 times, you're just spreading damage across the board. 4 damage counters at a time for each of the Pokemon. Really powerful. Because eventually, if you did this once or twice or maybe a couple times and you haven't knocked out everything just yet, you can finish it off with Spiritomb. Because with Spiritomb, if you have 13 or more Pokemon, Ghost Veil Pokemon or Hide and Sneak Pokemon in the discard pile, you will choose 2 Pokemon of your opponent. It could be active and benched or 2 bench, however you want. And those 2 Pokemon, you will quadruple the damage counters on them. So if you did Sinistcha a couple times, so many of the Pokemon already have a lot of damage counters on them, and then you quadruple them with this. I wasn't able to set it up in time in any of the games in the pre-releases because those games are really quick, and I ended up having like I think 11 or 12 as a maximum in the discard pile. I just didn't have enough time to actually do this attack. It would have been really nice. But yeah, in general with this deck, I enjoyed it. It was really fun, but I did notice that I had a lot of mirror matches that were just technically a race for the prize, that whoever started the game or whoever won the coin toss or the dice toss, that person won the game, because technically we're playing with the same deck if it didn't have a lot of changes. And then the first person who starts is the first person who sets it up, and then it's the first person who takes the first prize, and then so on and so forth. So it's 1-1-1-1, and that person ends up winning. So in the 4 rounds that I played during this event, I won 3 rounds and I lost 1, because one of the rounds was against Slowbro, then another one was against Delmice. So 1 Slowbro and 3 Delmice, 3 mirror matches. I won this one, of course. Then these 2, I went first in the game, and because I went first, I won, because like it was like very mirrored, and I started knocking out, so I won. And in the last one, I actually went second because the coin toss just favored my opponent, which was based on luck. And of course, he won me over because it's practically the same game, just like mirrored, and he won me with the prizes, starting knocking out my Pokemon first. So yeah, that's it. It was really fun. I am very interested to see how we can build this into like a full 60 card deck. I am going to look at the lists that went around in Japan for the championship that was a couple weeks ago, to build this deck as a full-on like actual competitive deck. So yeah, that's it for this one. I really enjoyed it, and because I got the Delmice in my first pre-release out of 4, all the rest I'm just gonna have fun, I'm just gonna enjoy it. Hopefully I'll get all 4 of them, but if not, that's completely okay. I'm just having fun with this one. It's very interesting, the first time that I've noticed that Delmice per se, the Pokemon, it's the only one that is included in the deck. Like literally only the promo card, and that's it. Usually other pre-release 40 card decks, they have the promo one and they have like the regular version here. But Delmice is the only one, so if it was prized or knocked out, you're shit out of luck. Because you have your main attacker in the discard pile or in the prizes. So yeah, it was very complicated. It was interesting why they didn't include a second one. And in the packs that I pulled, I don't remember that I pulled one, at least in this first pre-release event, so I couldn't include anything else. All right, let's clean this up and let's go for the second deck. All right, the second deck was our beautiful baby boy Bastiodon, really, really powerful Pokemon as well, or powerful ability. And the attack is quite good. We're going to arrange it really quickly and then we're going to talk about it. Okay, these were the extra sleeves. As you already noticed, I did make some very important changes, but we'll talk about those in a second while I arrange it. So yeah, the deck itself, here's the stamped version and here's the regular version. Usually they have separate arts, which is very interesting. Let's put it like this. So we see the main attacker below. Okay, here and here. Then the other Pokemon, I included some of the dark-based Pokemon because, interestingly, I was able to pull Inkay and Malamar as well, its evolution, which I will talk about in a second. Then I got Morpeko EX, a really nice Pokemon. And, of course, I got the mascot of this set, Mega Darkrai EX. Very, very happy about this one and very powerful Pokemon if set up correctly, but we'll talk about that in a second. So those are here. Now let's reorder the energies really quickly. If you've already seen some of the lists for the pre-release decks, you might already notice that I cut out completely Skarmory as the second attacker and the early attacker in this type of deck, but I will talk about that in a second. So yeah, for this one, I did edit it out a little bit more than the Delmice deck because I got so many Pokemon for Dark Energy, and also because I got 3 Dark Bells. So yeah, I was definitely going to edit it out because it just made sense. And it was really favorable if it like sorry, English is not my first language, but yeah, it favored me a lot to actually do those edits because it helped me to have like a stronger deck in general. Let's finish arranging these really quickly here. 1 second. Okay. Then we have Petrol here. It's not that beautifully arranged, but yeah, you get the point. Okay, and then we have some extra items and supporters. Let's talk about this really quick. So the main Pokemon here in this pre-release deck is, of course, Bastiodon. The ability of Bastiodon itself is that if this Pokemon is on the bench, it will completely protect your active Pokemon against any damage, not damage counters, damage from your opponent's attacks if they have 2 or less energies attached, which means any of the all 4 pre-release decks are 1 prizers that attack with 1 energy. All of those attacks are completely blocked off unless that person attaches 3 or more energies, because 2 or less, it's completely blocked. Except maybe Sinistcha, because it distributes Poltergeist, Sinistcha and Poltergeist, they distribute damage counters instead of actual damage, so it doesn't get blocked by this, but just the rest is just damage, so this is blocked. So it's good to have it on the bench, and if you charge it enough, it's a good enough damage, it's 160, that you can attack the other person. It can knock out a Bastiodon and practically almost all the other pre-release main attackers. So it was a nice Pokemon to have on the bench for the ability and to charge it slowly throughout the game, so it acts out as a second attacker if needed. In its original list, it had Skarmory, which attacked for 40 damage for each metal energy that was discarded that way. And then eventually you had a supporter that was Felipe. I removed him because I removed Skarmory, that it recovered those discarded energies into a stage 2 Pokemon, into Bastion itself, so it had like a nice synergy. But I decided to sacrifice Skarmory in order to include these dark-based Pokemon. Let's talk about those. So here we have Inkay and Malamar. Inkay, for 1 energy on the first attack, it doesn't do any damage, but it can look for your deck for any item card. So it could be like a Dark Bell, it could be a Pokepad, or it could be, in this case, like an Energy Search, a Rare Candy. But in most cases, I either search for a Pokepad or a Dark Bell. And also, actually, I could use it to search for the basic Pokemon of Bastiodon, because even though it is used as a basic Pokemon, it is essentially an item, which in Spanish is objeto. So it was really nice because it allowed me to search for either these items or also for the basic Pokemon per se. So it was a nice setup to have this one. And then its evolution, it had 2 attacks. The first one, it only confuses the opponent. And the second one, it does 130 130 damage, really powerful, but the only requirement is that the opponent is already confused, right? So either you already confused it in the first attack and then you finish it off with this one, or you already confuse it with a Dark Bell, which the power of this Dark Bell is that it confuses both active Pokemon except darkness based. At one point in one of the games, I was pitched up against a Morpeko. I was about to use this one so that I could use the 130 immediately, but then I thought about it as like, no, Morpeko will not be confused because it is dark based, so I didn't use it at that moment. So I attacked Morpeko with this one just to confuse it, and then eventually I kept on attacking a couple times with this, and the opponent was not able to unconfuse him. So I was able to win that match, and he came out with another Morpeko from the bench, and I did the same thing, and just like two prizes, and that was it. So this is Malamar, really nice. And then Morpeko itself, since we're talking about it, the first one is practically almost like a Lily. So as an attack, you shuffle your hand and then you draw 6 cards. So it's almost like a Lily, because in the pre-release formats, because you don't have 6 prize cards, you cannot draw 8, which is the usual for like a full prize. In this case, you always draw 6. So this was like a free Lily, but not a free, but it's a Lily with an attack if you don't have the supporter in hand. Then the second one is only 40 damage, but if you already have damage on yourself, on Morpeko, it does 40 damage counters for each damage counter, which means if this Morpeko has 10 or 1 damage counter, it would be 40 plus 40, so that's an 80. If this Morpeko has 2 damage counters, 20, that would be an extra 80 plus 40, that's 120. So it adds up by 40 with each damage counter. So if you hurt this Morpeko for like, I don't know, 100, that next attack for Morpeko would be 440. So this is a very nice card to have if you know how to set it up. So it can absorb some damage and then multiply that to the attacker. So it's actually really, really nice. So it would be interesting to see how this synergizes with other decks. And then we have our beautiful Mega Darkrai EX. And in this case, I decided to include it because why not? I already got the Dark Bells, I got these two, I got Morpeko. And of course, in this deck, we don't get the Dark Energy, but you can ask it from the shop. They can always give you some extra ones if needed. And I did ask for 7. I reduced some of the metal-based ones and all the other edits that I did. So for this one, what I did was include a lot of energies and less basic Pokemon. So even if I have a couple of mulligans, I will make sure that I will start either with one of these. Literally with one of these only I could start, because I cannot start with items. So it set me up to start really powerfully. So this one in particular, the first one for 2 dark based energies, you attack for 110, and then the extra ability or the extra effect here, that if one of your Pokemon on the bench has any damage counters on it, it does 110 more for a total of 220. Very powerful attack. Then the second one, it doesn't do any damage or damage counters, but if the opponent is confused, it's just an immediate knockout, independently of how much life is left. So because you have the dark-based Bell in this case, you can confuse both Pokemon, but in this case it doesn't get confused because it's darkness, so you only confuse the other one, and then you attack with this one, and then you kill it out. It doesn't matter how much life it has left, so it's a very nice effect. I used it a couple times, and I synergized this really well, but one of the decks was Miraidon, and it had, I think, Vikavolt, if I'm not mistaken, that had 260 damage plus the Voltaic special energy, which adds 2 more damage, and it hit me exactly for 280, and it killed the Mega Darkrai, which is 3 prizes, and for a 4 prize format I only was left with 1 more, and I think I had Malamar set up, and then they killed it immediately. So yeah, that was my only loss in this game, and I won 3 other rounds, but it was really, really fun to play with. So this is the second deck. We're gonna clean this up, and then we're gonna talk about the other hits that I got, and then we're gonna open up the extra packs. All right, so let's talk about the pulls per se. In all of the packs that I got from these 2 pre-releases, which were 14 packs in total, each box has 4 packs, then they give you 3 extra packs, so that's 7 and 7. I got 14 in total. But the first event, as you might have already seen in the recap at the beginning, They only gave us the 3 extra packs at the end of the event. So the unboxing itself, I only opened up 4 packs plus the pre-built deck. But eventually I opened up the rest. And when I opened up the other 3 packs, I got this one, which is the Rampardos EX. And during those pulls, I got the Lurantis EX only. So the first day I got these two, a full art, very beautiful Pokemon here. Let me show it really well here. Very beautiful Pokemon. And then we have the Rampardos that I got from the 3 extra packs. Then in the second day, I got another Lurantis EX. So technically it's the same card, but this is the double rare, like the regular version. Really, really nice artwork there. And then, of course, I got the Megazera Aura EX, really, really nice card. I could have also included it in the metal deck, but I would have changed from dark to electric. I thought about it for a second, but then I decided for the, the mascot of the expansion. So yeah, very interesting card here because it does 60 damage for each energy attached. And if you have the voltaic energy attached, it's 20 more. So that's a powerful attack. And then, of course, we already talked about these two. So these are all the hits from this weekend of 2 pre-release events. I didn't get any illustration rares or special illustration rares. It's really interesting how in those events, a lot of people around you get so many SIRs and then you don't get any SIR. And it's like, when will I get my first one? I'm very happy about my pulls. Don't mistake that, but I'm just waiting for my first SIR, and a person next to me got 2 more Peko SIR, 2 out of the 7 packs, and I just got the regular EX. So yeah, this is the name of the game, that's it. And apart from that, well, you already saw in the video, I pulled a lot of nice cards, very playable. Eventually, I will see how much of the main set will I be able to complete. And something very interesting, that the code cards, for the first time in, I think, a long time, or I think the first time in forever, the code cards per se are now collectible. So usually it was Pikachu, one of the last redesigns that they had, but now they included 4 other Pokemon, mostly Mega Pokemon. We have Mega Venusaur, Mega Lucario, Mega Kangaskhan, and Mega Gardevoir. So that's interesting. I would have liked to have like maybe a different color because these two are very similar. This is more orangey, this is a little bit paler. Maybe like a blue or a red or like a white or something a little bit different. It would have been nice, but yeah, very happy that I got at least one of them. So another thing to collect. All right, great. So with that, now let's go for the unpacking of the extra packs that we got. Let's put these to the side here. Let's put Mega Darkrai on top because it is the mascot. All right, great. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 packs to open, out of which 2 are prize packs. And then we have 1 Perfect Order, 1 Chaos Rising, and 1 Pitch Black, all in Spanish because I am based in Latin America. So the events and the pre-release events are all in Spanish because it is like officially sanctioned. And all the sealed products that I usually buy it in English. So my collection is a mix of both. Let's start in this order. The prize packs at the beginning. I'm really, really hoping for the Series 9 to come soon enough. It's going to be around mid or to end July. So we're waiting for that. And we're going to go in this order in the chronological order. Perfect Order, Chaos Rising, and Pitch Black. Let's hope we get a hit here. But let's start with the first one. Let's put this here. Is it recording? It is. All right. This is a great moment to remind you that if you like these types of videos, don't forget to subscribe, hit me a like, drop a comment, and tell me, do you like to attend these pre-release events? What do you like about them? And in this one in particular, which out of the 4 was your favorite? All right, we have our code for practice, or with the codes, energy to the front, and let's see what we get in this prize pack. Let's go. Fire Energy, Mystery Garden, Cynthia's Bolt. I know that all of these in Spanish. I will try to translate them. If the translation is really, really different, I'll just post it on the screen. If not, you will already know it by design. Then we have Embor, very beautiful artwork. Cosmos Soul Rock, followed by, ooh, nice. I really love these hollow Cosmos energies. We have the Psychic Cosmos. Let's go with the second prize pack. Let's see what we get here. Okay. Code, energy, shaboom. Basic lightning energy. Gatorade. Special Team Rocket, Double Energy, Dark and Psychic. Iona's Kilowattrel. Ooh, nice. We have Hops-Zation EX, really nice Pokemon. And it's a very, very useful card for the Hops-based, like the Trevenant deck. Really like it. Nice. Okay, I'll first hit. I don't have my sleeves on me. Let me go look for them and I'll sleeve it up right away. We have Lily's Rimbombi. I'm back. Let's grab the sleeve. Okay, our first hit of today. Very happy about that. I think I've already pulled this one. And if not, still happy about it. All right, it's there. Let's put these here. All right, great. So we still have 3 packs to go. Perfect, Chaos, and Pitch. Let's start with Perfect Order with our beautiful Meowth here. I love this illustration. Okay, it feels thicker after the prize packs because it's 10 cards instead of 6. All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Basic Grass Energy, followed by Dartrix, Bunnelby, Crushing Hammer, very useful card. Amora, Judge, another useful card. I really like when I pull these useful cards because even though I already have some of those, I always put them in my trade binder. A lot of people are looking for them. I trade for maybe other useful cards or nice cards that I have. So these cards are always nice to get. Volcanion, Shaman. Our first holo, we have a reverse holo Hippowdon, followed by reverse holo Lilette, or Jacinth in English, I think she's called. A very beautiful artwork, and she looks really nice. Then we have, ooh, Gengar. Okay, I have quite a few of these. Very nice to receive a Gengar, and I really like the illustration style. I hadn't noticed before, but there's like this electricity field around it, like with lines. Really, really nice. Okay, great. So we have our first pack from Perfect Order. Let's put it here. And 2 more. Chaos Rising. And then we'll finish off with Pitch Black. We'll see what we get. Okay, Code for Practice, Energy to the Front, and Shaboom, Basic Lightning Energy, followed by Wimpod. I really like the water effect around it. Trubbish, I love it. Fennekin, Pumpkaboo, Deoxys, AZ's Tranquility. It was extremely interesting how the Pokemon Company decided to include this supporter in the Slowbro deck, which is completely useless. Not completely useless, but I would say it's useful for like 5% of the times where you can bench your Pokemon using a supporter per turn. But the supporter not only benches, but if it's an EX, it heals 80 points. But Slowbro is not an EX. So why include this and not include, for example, Gladion? I'm going to post it on the screen, which is a much stronger supporter to include instead of this one, because Gladion bases off from having an empty hand, which is what Slowbro is about. So I don't understand what the thought process was around that, but yeah. Anyway, Skuntank, followed by Reverse Holo Watchdog, and Reverse Holo Prism Tower. And then we have our beautiful Holo Delphox, one of my pre-release decks for Chaos Rising, really nicely. All right, no hit so far from the regular packs, just from the prize pack with Hops-Zation. Last one, Pitch Black. Let's see what we get. This is the newest set. Let's hope we get something. Oh, and it's interesting. Now that we open packs, we will see what each pack we will get. This one was Mega Kangaskhan. In a couple weeks when I get the ETB, it will be interesting to see how many we get from each one. So Code for Practice, Energy to the Front, and Shaboom. We have Basic Grass Energy, followed by Mankey. Ooh, I didn't know that Yukimori had some cards in this set. Nice, another Yukimori edition. We have Sizzlipede, Bronzor, followed by, this illustration style reminds me a little bit of the Delibird illustration. I'll post it on the screen. The blue one, the water-based. Is it the same artist? This one is Saboteri. I don't know if it's the same artist, but it's a very similar art style. I'll post it on the screen and just to compare it. All right, we have Charjabug, followed by Heatran, Lampent. All right, we have the Stadium, which acts like a buddy-buddy Puffin for the fossil-based decks. It was useful when I had the Bastiodon. But yeah, it's really nice to have. Then we have our reverse holo Annihilate. Really powerful and nice looking illustration. We still have 2 more cards. Will we get a hit? All right, nothing so far. We have, oh, nice. Okay, we have the basic Pokemon of Lampent. We have Litwick. Beautiful illustration. Nice. It's a reverse holo. Really, really nice. And then the last one, okay, we don't have any hit, but a very nice illustration for Zarude, a holo variation. I like it. I really like this illustration. Look at that holo effect. All right, great. So no hits from the regular packs, just Hobsation there. And yeah, that's it for now. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.